kalihim ng Department of Foreign Affairs sa kanyang pagpakilala, Secretary Ricky Manalo. Please take your seats. And let me say what I have waited very long time to say. Aloha. Alam niyo po, I'm sure that they have told you, we have just come from San Francisco in Los Angeles. San Francisco, we attended the APEC conference. At yung mga lahat ng bansa na nakapaligid sa Pacific Ocean and in Asia were there, and it was very important for us to be there. But on the way back, I was told, they said, we can fly directly from San Francisco to Manila. And I said, but Honolulu is Hawaii is in the way, on the way. So I said, we have to go down, we have to land in Hawaii. I have to say hello to all our friends in Hawaii, because Honolulu, Hawaii, holds the Filipinos and the Filipino Americans in Hawaii hold a very special place in my heart, as for all the wonderful experiences that we had here with our Filipino compatriots. That's why, generally speaking, when I come up to speak, I start by introducing our delegation that are here with me. But since this is a special place and it holds special memories, I will turn it around a little bit. I want to introduce you to them. These are the people that kept us alive for 6 years. We landed here in Honolulu with nothing, My family was flown from Malacanang Palace to Hicam Air Force Base. And when we finally moved to Makiki Heights, kayong lahat, nakikita ko kayo, nandun kayong lahat. I know they were always there. We had nothing with us. They kept everything to inspect everything. These are the people who kept body and soul together of the Marcos family. When I tell this story, people do not quite believe me. But I tell them, you do not realize how close we became and how kind and how generous the people, the Filipino-Americans in Hawaii were. PSC, mga PSC, dating PSC. Oh, kita mo? These are your predecessors. Ito yung mga dating presidential security. Hindi, ito mga naiwan na dito. Ito yung mga sumama sa amin. At they already found that place. Pati po yung nag-entertain sa atin, si Florante. Matagal siya nandito. Lagi kami magkasama ni Florante nung nandito kami. And as I was saying, when I tell this story, people do not believe it. They do not quite believe it. But we landed here with nothing. Even ultimo yung damit namin, silang nagbigay. Silang nagpapakain sa amin. Pati yung mga appliance doon sa Makiki, silang nagdadala. At pagka kami nalulungkot, sila ang nagpapasaya sa amin. Kung hindi sa inyo, palagay ko, wala na yung pamilyang Marcos, kaya't hindi ko makakalimutan. On behalf of my entire family, wala na yung aking ama. But when my mother found out that I was coming to Honolulu, he said, you make sure that you go back to all of those people who went out of their way to keep us comfortable, to keep us alive, literally alive. And that is something that I will carry in my heart, that the Marcos family will carry in our heart. We tell our children about this and how wonderful you all were to us in the time that we were here. We could not have survived that very difficult period if not for you. And that's why when I was in San Francisco, I insisted we must pass by Hawaii, because even if I thank you every day for 1,000 years, it is not enough for all of the things that you did for us. Naalala ko tuloy yung mga sa Makiki, kung ano yung mga ginagawa. These are the leaders of the Filipino community. Yung iba wala na. Si Manong Joe wala na. Wala na, tumanda na tayo lahat, Manong. Naka-wheelchair na. But without you, siyang nauuna. Siya talaga. Ang sabi sa akin, when I first arrived here, kausap ko si Uncle Kokoy, your father. And I said, bakit nandyan yung Jolaso? Sino ba yan? Sabi niya, nako, kung hindi lang pangalan mo Marcos, mas loyalista pa sa Marcos yan kaysa sa'yo. At yan ang mga tumutulong sa amin. These are the people who really were that we as a family, we as individuals, owe a debt of gratitude that we will never ever be able to pay. But now it's time to go back and introduce to you ang ating mga kasama dito sa delegation natin. Kasama po natin ang Speaker ng House of Representatives, Speaker Martin Romualdez. Andito rin po ang ating kalihim ng Department of Trade and Industry, Trade and Industry Secretary Fred Pascual. Kasama din po natin, at dahil meron tayong kaunting ugnayan dito sa militar ng US, habang kami nandito, kaya't nandito po ang NS chairman natin, Chairman Ed, where is Ed Anyo? Is here. Kasama din natin ang isang kilala ninyo, isang deputy speaker ng House of Representatives na tumutulong din sa atin dahil siya ay naging expert sa mga economic issues, at kaya't napakahalaga na kasama siya dahil yun ang aming pinag-usapan dun sa APEC. Ang ating Deputy Speaker at Congressman Ralph Recto, who is sometimes referred to as Mr. Vilma Santos. Well, we heard from the Philippine Ambassador to the United States, Ambassador Babes Romualdez. Andito rin ang ating very important new department in the Philippine government, especially for the OFWs, for Filipinos who are living and working abroad. Ang ating pinakabagong departamento, ang Department of Migrant Workers, at kasama po natin si Undersecretary Patricia Yvonne Kaunan. Yan, pagka nagkakaproblema, kaya't gumawa na po tayo ng isang department para lang sa mga OFW dahil sa napakahalaga, the importance that we put to what the contributions are of our countrymen to the Philippines. Because many times we think that the OFWs are only here to work for their families, to help their families. Well, that is true. And maybe that is one of the original motivations. But in the process of you helping your families, you also help your communities. And that is why we created the Department of Migrant Workers, so that we can be sure na lahat ng inyong pangangailangan, pagka kayo ay lahat ng maitutulong ng pamahalaan Pilipino ay ating gagawin, dahil napakahalaga ang inyong kontribusyon sa ating bansa. The kasama din natin dito is the Armed Forces Chief of Staff, General Romy Browner Jr. And ito, hindi na kailangan ipakilala dahil kasama ninyo lagi our Consul General to Hawaii, Emil Fernandez. At hindi ko makukumpleto ang aking pagpakilala kung hindi ko naman ipakilala ang aking may bahay, our First Lady Lisa Araneta Marcos. All the fellow workers that are with us, my fellow workers in government, ladies and gentlemen, naimbag na rabi, good evening po sa inyong lahat. So thank you once again for the very enthusiastic welcome. The First Lady and I and the esteemed members of my delegation are delighted to be back here in the Hawaii, in these islands, which many describe as a paradise. After my attendance of the APEC leaders meeting in San Francisco earlier this week, I made sure, as I said, that we come to Hawaii so that I could spend a little time reminiscing with all our friends here and perhaps go around and look at the places where we used to spend time in the time that we were here. And many of you, we have all noted, many of you are also from, beforehand, started as all from the north, mga Ilocano. Nagaduti Ilocano dito eh. So, and that is why we have made it a point to come. Also, I wanted to come because we have been watching in the Philippines. Pinapanood namin ang mga pangyayari sa Maui. At kawawa naman ang ating mga Pilipino na naging casualty. And so before I proceed, let us share a moment of silence as we remember those who perished in the devastating wildfires in Maui last August. We pray for strength and courage for the relatives and friends of those fatalities, as well as those who are still recovering and rebuilding their lives in the aftermath of that terrible disaster. I truly appreciate seeing you all here to celebrate the close connection that the Philippines has with Hawaii. My wife Lisa and I bring the fond greetings of our family and the Filipinos back home. For over a century now, the Filipino presence here has become part and parcel of Hawaiian culture. From the various industries, tourism, health, education, business, and political representation, the Filipinos' mark can be seen and felt, and indeed, even tasted. I know that Filipino cuisine is a staple even among non-Filipino friends and family now. And with 25% of the population of the state of Hawaii having roots in the Philippines, our rich and diverse culture has become deeply intertwined in the social fabric of the Aloha state. That is how deep the connection between us has been and will always be. Over the years, Filipino Americans and Filipinos have contributed such a great deal to Hawaii's economic development. Our connection began when 15 sakadas arrived in 1906 as plantation work. They left sa Lumagi Port in Ilocos Sur. Yun yung una. Kaya yung ating nung 2006 we were able to celebrate the 100th year at yung mga kamag-anak ng mga unang sumakay na immigrant workers, plantation workers dito sa Hawaii ay nakapag-celebrate kami kasama pa namin ang governor ng Hawaii noon. At dahil sa importansya na binibigay ng mga Hawaiano sa ating sa mga Pilipino ay hanggang Pilipinas nagkakampanya na ang mga American na kandidato ay para makuha nila ang boto ng Pilipino. At yan ang aming ginagawa nung nandito kami ni Manong Joe. At ino-organize namin ng mga Pilipino para naman meron tayong boses sa lahat ng mga nakikinig, lahat ng mga leadership ng Hawaii, ng Honolulu, at ng iba't ibang bayan sa ibang lugar. I remember talking to all of the governors and also the former mayor. If you remember, Mufi Haniman was the mayor for a while, and he was always saying that he's basically a Filipino. And that applies to not only the mayor but also all of the leadership na lahat naman sila ay pinalaki ng Pilipino. Kaya malapit sa puso nila ang Pilipinas. Subsequently, Filipinos fought shoulder to shoulder with American soldiers during the war. We see now many very successful second and third generation Filipinos, as well as present-day migrants who are an indelible part of our society. Because of you, the Philippines enjoys a very positive image in Hawaii. Thank you for all that you do for our country. And this is a characteristic that I have found. This is a characteristic that I have found everywhere that I go. And over the many years that Filipinos have been working abroad, and not only in the United States, not only in Hawaii, pero kahit saan ako pumunta, ay unang-una sinasabi, ang gagaling ng Pilipino, ang sisipag, ang babait, mapagkatiwalaan, at ang gagaling pa mag-English. Mas magaling sa amin mag-English. Kaya't naman, kinikilala na ang Pilipino dahil sa inyo. It is because of your hard work. It is because of your talent. It is because of your graciousness and your affection for those that are around you. Ang laging nababanggit na katangian ng Pilipino ay masyadong matulungin. At ipinapaliwanag ko sa kanila na meron tayo kasama sa ugali ng Pilipino, sa kultura ng Pilipino, yung tinatawag na magiging bayanihan. At hanggang sa lahat ng pinupuntahan ng Pilipino, ay dala nila yan. Dala nila yan ng ang pagkabayanihan ng mga Pilipino, at kahit na, sinasabi nga nila, kahit na hindi sa trabaho na, basta't may nangangailangan, tumutulong pa rin. Kahit hindi Pilipino, ang nangangailangan ng tulong, tutulungan ng mga Pinoy. Kaya't naman mahal na kayo ng inyong mga kakilala dito, ang inyong mga katrabaho dito, at hindi lamang dito sa Hawaii, kundi sa buong mundo ay kinikilala na ang Pilipino na dahil sa maganda ninyong ipinapakita, at kami naman sa Pilipinas ay pinapalakpakan namin kayo kahit malayo, at pinapalakpakan namin kayo sa inyong napakagandang ibinibigay at dinudulot sa reputasyon ng Pilipinas. I cannot go further without giving another word of thanks. Alam niyo po, nung kampanya, nung last year, nung kami nahalal ni Inday Sara, ay hindi kami nakapunta rito, hindi kami makapagbiyahe. Gusto sana namin magkampanya kung saan-saan dahil sa dami ng Pilipino na sa abroad. Ay naisana namin. Ngunit hindi namin magawa dahil may COVID pa noon at hindi pa lumilipad yung mga eroplano, kaya hindi kami makapunta kahit saan. Doon lang kami sa Pilipinas muna. And yet, I am told that I garnered 83% of the votes in Hawaii and in America, Samoa, during the voting exercise of last year. Kaya kailangan ko magpasalamat sa inyo sa inyong tiwala na ibinigay sa amin, sa tiwala at suporta at pagmamahal na inyong pinaramdam sa amin. Kahit na hindi kami nakarating dito, ramdam na ramdam namin. Nakikita naman siguro ninyo yung mga programa, mga rally natin dun sa Facebook at live stream namin para nga makita ng lahat ng ating mga kababayan. Hindi nga namin magawa, kaya gumawa kami ng counting replica noong kampanya para naman kayo na hindi namin napuntahan ay makaramdam kayo ng konti na aming karanasan nung nakarang halalan. Even from the time of my father, you have been by our side in our quest to serve the country. From the bottom of my heart, I must say that I thank you for trusting me, for believing in this leadership. In return, I and my administration will be hard at work and have been hard at work from day one to ensure that we accomplish all that we have set out to do. In San Francisco, I met with the leaders of other APEC countries where we discussed how to create a resilient and sustainable future for Filipino Americans and all the people of the APEC regions by making our economies interconnected, innovative, and inclusive. And I urge them to leverage APEC's core values, collaborate with the private sector, align efforts with global economic initiatives with a view to expand representation, strengthening government-business relationships, addressing protectionism, intervening when the market fails while continuing to enhance cooperation on a broader scale. It has become a very important part of the transformation of the Philippine economy that we are undertaking. And why is it that we have to transform the Philippine economy? Because COVID changed everything. COVID changed the way we work. COVID changed the way we live. COVID changed the way we interact with one another. COVID changed the way we do business. And we have to adjust accordingly. And the strength will come from these partnerships that we create with our friends and allies from around the world. Starting with APEC, with ASEAN, pati na sa UN, lahat yan ay talagang nilalapitan natin para naman pagka mas marami kayo na nagkakapit-bisig, na nagtutulungan, mas matibay at mas mabilis at mas magiging matagumpay ang inyong mga ginagawa. So the Philippines' participation in this regional organization promotes and helps us achieve our national objectives. So I am happy to share with you that the Philippine economy remains strong and positive. In 2022, our gross domestic product grew by 7.6% from 5.7% in 2021. And in the first half of 2023, our GDP grew by 5.3%, which, if you compare it with many of our Asian neighbors, we are doing better than most of the world. Not only Asia, but we are doing better than most of the world. And I'm confident we will achieve our target growth of somewhere between 5 to 7%, 5 to 6% for this year, because we have you and your full support with your trade missions, your various business pursuits. Our economic managers project our GDP to grow by a very good number from 2023 to 2028. Ang aming target po ay mula 2023 hanggang 2028 ay lumaki ang ekonomiya ng Pilipinas net about by 6.5 to 8.0%. We are closely monitoring domestic and external developments to make sure that whatever policy adjustments that are necessary are in fact being made. Employment and jobs in the Philippines are now at historic highs. Tourism growth areas are back in business. Investment, registration activities have significantly increased. Manufacturing activity has accelerated, contributing to the highest share of GDP at 18.7% is the contribution in 2022. We continue to closely monitor the impact of global economic slowdown, and will facilitate diversification of external markets in order to expand opportunities for our exporters. We will still face many challenges in the economic sphere until next year, and in the following years, hopefully they will subside. But nonetheless, they will still be there. But you must rest assured that we are better equipped now and more resilient now to withstand various external and risks and challenges. With the active participation of all sectors of society, including overseas Filipinos, we can be on track in achieving social and economic transformation agenda towards a prosperous, inclusive, and resilient Philippines. There are so many things that we have to do. And that's why I cannot understate the need for us to be united. So I ask all of you, continue to be supportive of your government and of the Philippines. You have worked hard to build your lives here. You are the glue that holds us together. Let us keep traffic bustling between our two homes. Let us continue working together towards building a stronger Philippine Republic. I count on your support. Maraming salamat po sa inyong lahat. Mabuhay ang Pilipino, mabuhay ang Pilipinas. Thank you very much. Mahalo.
Ang Pangulo ng Republika ng Pilipinas, Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr.